Welcome to the Real Build podcast. I'm Tommy, and I'm here with two guys you're going to hear from a lot, Devin and Tyler. We're three friends navigating life, work, change, and everything in between.
This show is about being real life, real pivots, real rebuilds. We've all taken different paths, and this podcast is a place where we talk about the process, the struggles, and the moments where things shift.
This podcast is about breaking routines, testing ideas, and living stories worth telling. We're not experts. We're just three guys figuring things out, and we're inviting you to figure it out with us.
Switch phones for a week?
Yeah, I'll do it. I won't promise you any business, but
I don't get any anyway. That's fine.
Hello, it's Devin. Welcome to my podcast. My podcast, it's not mine.
I did that the other day. I was like, hello, this is Kylie. And he's like, you have to say Idaho Disaster Pros. Well, you say, hello, it's Braden. They're calling my phone.
You're like, what? I know. Does it forward to your phone too?
No, I answered his phone.
What kind of assistant answers hello, this is Kylie? They're expecting a man on the other end.
Hello, this is Kyle. Hello, I'm Kyle.
Have you guys tried AI voice? For your answering
calls,
service?
We haven't done it, but I think it could be cool.
I did it.
Do you like it?
Yes and no, but also I don't care.
I think the hiccups are having the right prompts for the questions asked, especially emergency services. There's so many things that we have to know. There is a company that offers it, but it is for only one type of call. So then you have to set up new different things for each one.
So it's set up, it says welcome to Built Building Company, thanks for calling, or whatever it is. And then it says, it's what can I help you with, or what kind of service can we offer? And it's oh, I'm looking for whatever. It's oh yeah, we'd love to help you with that. Can you give me a little bit more information? It kind of digs deep into it, but I don't know if it's digs deep enough for what you guys need.
So do you get a condensed version of it in a text so you can read it, or it's a recording?
Both.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But yours is probably, you have to because it's an emergency.
Yeah.
Right? So you'd have to, probably an actual human that needs to answer it.
Yeah.
They have answering services out there too to do it. I have a buddy who's a plumber in Boise who uses a call center. So if they call Braden's phone and Braden doesn't answer, it'll go after 3 rings or 4 rings or something like that. It goes immediately to a call center and it's guaranteed somebody will answer.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then you're talking to a person. And then at least they'll take notes and stuff and then forward them on to you.
Yeah.
So
do they work with CRMs?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'd be curious of something like that for our company specifically, because a good example is Braden recently just missed out on a paintballing trip that we all went to because he was worried about missing a call, right? You never know what that call is going to be, whether it's bogus or not, or maybe you're not even going to get the call. But because we are emergency services and a growing company, we feel huge responsibility to answering that call.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have someone even just answering it and then maybe just forwarding straight to him.
So for everybody that doesn't know, run us through what your company is quick. Give us the rundown what you and Braden do. You have your own. Braden's got his, but you guys do it together as far as I know. Give us a little background, how it started.
All the good stuff. So we are Idaho Disaster Pros. It's a restoration company. We're local, but we serve basically all of East Idaho, Wyoming areas. Braden started a year that he was laid off from H&K. It was the money's really good when you're doing road construction while it's good, right? And then you get laid off every winter and it's shit, we have no money. So he had talked about starting his own company for years. And finally, when he was laid off, I was take advantage of it. Now's your time. You're at least getting some sort of a paycheck. Just try. What's the worst that can happen? So he started a flooring company doing installations and it went great. I think he was just naturally really good at it. He grew up doing it. So even more, it just fell into him well, I guess. The company worked out good. And we did that for a few years until he transitioned into full rebuild. And so that was if someone was wanting to rebuild their bathroom, or a lot of restoration companies would call us and say, hey, we need someone to do X, Y, and Z. And Braden was the perfect guy for it. So we did that for a couple years until we met a guy named Benson, who previously owned a carpet cleaning company. So that's originally where we had kind of started working with him. He had started a restoration company and asked us if we wanted to partner, which I was so hesitant because I'm we've got it good. The money's good. Your schedule's good. We can do whatever the hell we want. This was our first time that we had made decent money. So it was scary to feel like we would be letting go of some of that to someone, not realizing what the potential with restoration was. So we didn't partner at that time. We just continued kind of working side by side with Benson. I think until he like approached us again. It was the first offer I felt like was not something I wanted to do. Second offer was immediately like, I want to do this with you guys. We'll go 50-50 and just like run as hard as we can. So we started that almost 5 years ago with Benson, and it went great. Benson has really beautiful strengths as far as, like, this brain that just can go, 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 and think of, like, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, like, so far into the future. I'm really good with numbers, sales, he's good at that, and then Braden's really good at, like, people and doing the actual work, and he's so good at, like, getting people to gravitate around him. So we were able to build a good team that way. And I think because they were partners, that worked out okay because they weren't like butting heads trying to do the exact same thing, right? So then this last year, Benson wanted to move, so we've been in the middle of a buyout, and we just recently bought Benson out, and Braden's sole owner now. So it's exciting.
I
I,
just work here.
I take half. It's been really cool. I think that there's obviously challenging points, but I kind of love those because you see like where your strengths and weaknesses are, and then it pushes you that much harder to be better, right? I like it.
What's something you think? Yeah, you get the phone now. What's something you think? Like, what do you like the most about owning a restoration company? This is for Daddy. You have to talk and you have to eat this
Gotta
bad
get
boy.
This is for me.
This is for you. This circle, you have to like. and
Yeah, for you, unless you call Kylie daddy.
It just depends on the night. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I enjoy about the restoration world. I think one of the biggest things that I personally enjoy is you're kind of going there when someone's devastated, whether it's a big loss or a small loss. Like most people, their homes are their biggest investments. And so they're calling a complete stranger or a company when their home is wrecked. And, I've walked into all sorts of disasters and just that emotional connection you get with whoever, and just, I've walked in, people bawling, crying, grown men just devastated, and just kind of being there to kind of comfort them and just let them know, like, hey, bad things happen, but we're here to help. And then just once you kind of get it flipped around and just a lot of our customers I still talk to. So like you just build these relationships. So I think that's like one of the cooler aspects of it. Also just like building our team, they're kind of like big children of mine, all different ages. Some older than me, but I still call them my children. But just kind of having them and kind of building that culture, but also like not just work wise, but trying to find out what their personal goals are, right? And trying to have them reach their goals. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, obviously, as an owner, I'm trying to better myself, but also better everybody around me. And sometimes that's really frustrating because it's hard to see eye to eye on everything. But I think that's another big thing that I enjoy is just like seeing little wins for I call 'em my teammates. I don't like employees. It kind of feels weird to me, but my team, and seeing like one wanted a street bike, a Bolt bike for a couple years. So finally he has one, he loves it, and just kind of seeing the opportunity and the growth and stuff like within the company, but himself, like everybody else, just like seeing their lives and how it's changing not just our lives, but team, and then obviously all of our customers and whatnot. So
how is it to like? Because I obviously don't have any employees, but like, how is it to build?
teammate.
Oh yeah, teammates. It's got to be hard because a lot of these people are going to like either maybe like move up the ranks a little bit in your company or peace out. Is that hard?
I actually really would. I wish everybody on my team would go and start their own company in something, and I would give them the hand. But sorry, not used to having things this close to my mouth. It's intimidating. The thing's huge,
It's pretty big.
but like I would love for everybody, whatever their dream is. I've seen it both ways. They Had a few teammates actually go off on their own and do pretty well and be pretty successful. I've had a few think the grass was greener on the other side and then come back. So at the end of the day, I just really want what's best for them individually. And if that's not with me or with our company, then that's okay, right? And I depending on how everything went, like I'd be your biggest cheerleader, like however that plays out.
That's cool because I don't think everybody thinks like that, right? It's like, we built you. I've seen this personally, right? Where it's like, we built you, you owe it to to this company now. I'm like, bro, I bet if you would retain way better employees, if you just like you said, you actually found out things about them, learned about what their dreams were, help them achieve their dreams, even if that's leaving. And it'll be that harder to leave, one. And two, when they do, it's not going to be this awkward thing where, like, yeah, man, like, I think Kylie even said it, right? Where it's like, hey, if there's potential that we can help you build this, we would like to help you build this.
Yeah. That's exactly what Braden's actually done with a couple of our previous employees is like
Teammates, team members.
teammates.
Dang it.
Yeah. We're a team.
Yeah, I agree. We're a team, but
Always just an icky word.
so it's actually been really cool. One specifically he's been my favorite because he started with us from the very beginning. And so, we knew who he was working with before, and I think they took a little bit of advantage of him. And he's not your typical human, right? Like he's someone that maybe people would look at and dismiss a little bit. He's rougher around the edges. You could tell he's got a rough past. He talks a little bit grumbly, right? And so actually I think a lot of people are a little bit afraid of him. It's true. Watching him build something on his own and be able to financially provide for himself. And now, like initially he was just getting jobs from us, right? But now he's went out and he's met with many other vendors and contractors and he's working with them and for himself. And I think it just makes us so happy to see him doing that and succeeding. And I think that's all we ever want.
That's cool. Because, yeah, I don't feel like that's normal. Like, do you think that's normal? I don't think it's normal.
I'm far from normal, bro.
I think it's
Well,
cool, dude, because I think you're onto something. And it's just coming from me. I think I don't know. I feel like if you truly wanted some loyalty, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that word now, but y'all know why.
it's icky.
That's an icky word. But like, man, that you at least have something always, right? There's some friendship, there's some connection. I'm sure that will pay dividends down the road as well, even if they want to come back. Like, hey, how to say that their business is harder to run than they thought, but they learned a lot going and doing their own thing, and they come back and they can help you jump into yours.
There's nothing easy about business, whether it's concrete, flooring. I mean, it's because most people want something that's like stable, like, and a lot of it's like the pressure and the weight of, hey, if this phone doesn't ring, or it's almost like I'm banking on somebody to have a bad day, which sounds terrible. But honestly, that's what it is, right? Like, I'm not selling like a t-shirt or something that people want. Yeah, I'm selling, like, I'm there when people are wrecked. Like,
Yeah.
so it's weird. It holds a different weight. And, but I mean, you're also very blessed.
Mhm.
I always say it's a special kind of stupid. You gotta really want it and really, but I mean, I think that's with everything, right? I mean, we all wake up and go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning so we can go and run our businesses and work our asses off. That's a special kind of stupid too.
And I'm specially buff because of it.
I got one for you, Braden. When you left HK, what were like your biggest growing pains? Because obviously, like listening to you, you're a hell of a leader. Sounds like you're a great boss to your teammates. Sounds like you got stuff going for you, that a lot of attributes that it seems like, you genuinely care. So can you kind of was there ever a point from HK, right? So you're an employee to becoming a boss that you had to really learn the hard way on these things, or have things kind of naturally flowed in a direction that, you were like, okay, like this is going smoothly? I'm curious about that because we know you more than, the guys listening. So what were some of those things that you kinda that reach out to you the most right now where you're like, "That was tough." You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a deep one. I think the biggest one was having, because at that time we just had our daughter, and it was super scary to kind of go out and try it, right? But I guess having Kylie behind me saying, "You're gonna make this work," because there's a lot of self doubt. I'm young, and in the flooring world, most people are, I call them grandpas because like that's what they did, right? There wasn't a bunch of young guys that were stupid enough to go pat carpet and do the flooring world. So kind of a lot of self doubt, but still to this day, Kylie being there and just being like, it's a rough day. It is what it is. But having that backbone, right, of somebody that's there for you through all the thick, thin, and the good, right? Because like as an owner of a company or even your own families, right? Like as men, I feel like we take on this pressure of being a provider and making sure that we fix all the problems. Like, what's the problem? Oh, I think as men, that's how we're wired. Like, oh, the problem's this. Okay, well, let's go take care of that dude, or let's move this couch, or let's fix this. Sometimes we just can't fix what needs to be fixed, and that just is what it is. So I think like a lot of it for me is, and I'm still learning this, like even today, like it's just one of those things where it just seems like everything builds up, and you're just like, son of a biscuit, like how the hell do, like why, So every now and then I you question like, why do I put myself through this? And it's not like I doubt my team or what we stand for, but sometimes it's just the weight. So I think when you first get started, it's just you got to go sell yourself. You got to go practically explain why you're better than this last gentleman that was here, and then stand behind it. Right? A lot of people can talk the talk, but walk the walk is a whole different nature. But I think that was the scariest thing is I had like a dirt bike and a little bit in our savings account. We sold that and I went and bought a truck and or a trailer. I don't remember. I think it was a little trailer and no, it was a truck. And we drained everything and I'm like, here we go. Kai in the mornings, but you go get it.
Carpets.
But I mean, I think that's the big thing is like no matter what you guys are doing in life, I mean, even like the gym, like you guys are always busting me like, hey, they didn't show up, you big puss.
Don't worry, I didn't show up.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like that, just like, I guess being held accountable, good, bad, or ugly. And I seem to find myself always, as the owner, doing the dirty work or putting out the fires, is what I call it, right? So when my teammates or whoever can't handle Miss Smith or whoever or an adjuster, then it's like that's what I deal with all day. So sometimes you do that for so much, it's like, man, I just feel like a punching bag. Like it sucks. And like it is what it is, but sometimes you just gotta sit back and be like, you know what, I'm tired of being punched.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
punch you
like
back.
it.
Gonna knock it.
Mrs. Smith.
But in all reality, it's like Kai and the kids get it, right? Like you come home and you're on edge, you're frustrated, and it's not even like you're frustrated at your your wife or your kids, but that's where we're comfortable, right? We're home. This is our quote unquote safe area. And then it's just like everything's built up and kids say something or spill the juice and you're like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Well, that was stupid. Like, why did I do that?" Like, And once again, there's Kai, my backbone, telling me like, "Yo, you're not mad at us. You're mad at Mrs. Smith or whoever, right?"
Yeah.
But it's like just once again those checks and balances, like, and then just having the faith and just knowing that sometimes you don't know what the road is ahead. But if you keep up and you're just keep going and you're grinding, whatever your greater power or whatever you believe in, like it's there. And sometimes we don't see it or we don't recognize it, but just know that as long as you're willing to get up and grind, good things come. They do. And sometimes it takes a while for those to come and you see them. Sometimes they're instant, but like anybody, not even business wise, like, if kind of your talk today, you know, if you do something hard, like whatever that is, like do it because you have that hard conversation or you do that hard workout or you do like it gives you this different kind of energy. Like you're like, holy cow, maybe you didn't think you could or whatever. And it gives you, and it just helps build you as a person and your confidence. And that goes for not just business stuff, but like in general in life, you know?
I think that resonates with a lot of people, and I actually had this conversation this week with my brother in that, like, getting up, doing the hardest thing first. I mean, maybe for us, maybe it's getting up at 4:30 and going to the
Wall
gym.
balls, bro.
I didn't do that. Tweaked my back so bad this week, I feel like
Wall
90-year-old
balls.
grandpa.
I walked out of halfway through the gym. I couldn't even, my leg was numb.
Yeah. So if you you pick the hard thing, I don't know, maybe it's in the morning, you're like, "Okay, today I've gotta return that call to Mrs. Smith and just put out that fire, whatever it is, and that's gonna happen at 8:00 AM." Instead of putting it off until 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, because that little thing can drain your energy all through the day, and then you get to the end and you're like, "Oh, I gotta call her, and I'm gonna murder her on this call." Instead of doing it with a little bit of energy from the morning, when you get out of your workout, you're done, you're off on your day, call her, get it done with, boom, you're done, go check on your team, go hang out with them, and then you get that gained energy again. That's something it's not perfect in my life by any means, but it's definitely helped. But it's hard. That's why they call it the hard things.
Have
Yeah,
you read
when
that in like the Atomic Habits, right? That book, it talks about that where it says, like, start stacking the hard things
Yep.
with like rewards, though. So, like, the thing you want to do, so like you do the hard thing and then you reward yourself with the thing you want to do, which is, I've actually been doing that with praying.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, because I've been trying to, this is stupid. I've been trying to take care of my beard. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start conditioning my beard. And while I condition my beard, I'm going to pray.
What do you pray about? Like, do you pray about a
Everything.
growth?
beard god or what?
Please make my split ends go away in my beard. But it's funny, like just stacking weird thing. Like, what do they call that? Habit stacking. In the book, they call it habit stacking. And doing the hard things and things you don't want to do or the things you do put off. And then it talks about how that one little thing, which seems really difficult, in reality only takes 2 minutes to figure out, and you're back. Like your life is like, all right, dude. Like I have my whole day now, rather than thinking about it all day. Oh, I need to make business cards. Well, just make them in first thing in the morning, and then let your day go out the rest of the way. And I'm guilty of this week, where I'm like, I need to make a freaking business card, and I still haven't done it because I haven't apparently taken my own advice. But
And it sucks because some of those like hard things, some of those phone calls, you get yourself so worked up on that by the time you get on a phone call and it's like, "Oh, hi, Braden. I've been just wanting to talk to you. Like, I was just so worried about this, but it's great now." And you're like, "Damn, that's way different than the phone call I thought we
I
were
was
gonna have."
coming to your house
Yeah.
to murder you.
I feel like that's what happens 90% of the time. It's like there's this really big workup of like, I got to make this call or I got to visit this customer or I got to text this person back and you think it's going to be this big thing. And it's like Braden can smooth talk anyone, and he's good at it.
Yeah, he was doing that to me in the
That's
Hellcat.
That's the funny thing is I'm like, why are you getting worked up? Everything always goes your way. Why are you mad? Just call. It's fine because you're going to be fine at the end of it.
Is sometimes just because you're good at something doesn't mean you like to do it. Just because I'm good at calming a situation and smoothing things over, quote unquote, firefighter is what I call it, doesn't mean I like to do it all the time.
So I got a question on that because business owner to business owner, how do you find the person that is? And then how do you implement that person in that life?
If you figure that out, let me know. Guess
Okay.
what? I guess that's me, right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what my teammate does. If we miscommunicate or we do something wrong or we break something, it's on Idaho Disaster Pros, aka me, right? So who's going to try to smooth that over and make that work better than the owner? Like that's in my head, right?
Yeah.
So once again, like it's like I'm good at it, but it's because I do everything the hardest, most expensive way. And that's just how I've done it my whole life. So Like anyone I talk to, they're like, "Hey, what do you recommend on this?" And I'm like, "Here's a book on what not to do. So don't do this, but do this," right? But like that's reality for me. And sometimes I'm just stubborn. Like Kai will tell me, "Hey, there's an easier way." I'm like, "I'm gonna just do it my way to show you that this hard way's doable. It's just gonna cost us a lot more, but I'm gonna do it because I'm a stubborn ass."
I think because Braden's used to being like the owner operator, it's really hard for him to let go of the control of those things. And often he talks about cloning himself. Like, if I could just make a second version of me,
Solid.
like that's what he would want, right? But
But then
there's
they'd all be a
things.
pain in your ass and you would hate every one of them and they'd all be fired.
Good Lord, you're a lot to handle.
Damn, this other Braden is stubborn.
I just talk shit on all the
I'm
other
sorry.
And
Bradens.
he hates
like,
Mrs.
You're wonderful, but those ones, I
Hey.
think that at some point you have to let go of that control and be able to allow someone to do it, even though it's different and maybe it's uncomfortable for you. Because I've actually even volunteered to take over the calls. I'm like, I'll take them from you.
Yep.
I don't mind having those conversations, right? And I'm sure that it would weigh on me over time, as it has Braden. But I think that as the owner, he's so devoted to the company and making sure it's running well that it's like sometimes he doesn't even see that like he's responding to a customer at 10:30 at night and a text message, and I'm like, "Dude, that can wait until 8 AM tomorrow morning. You're putting yourself in this space where this is not an emergency." A lot of these people texting you at 30 o'clock at night or midnight or whatever it may be, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, "You don't have to respond to that." So I think there'd be a lot of power in getting that person, there and having someone to put out the fires or just smooth things over if there is a hiccup, but I think that comes with being comfortable with letting go of a little bit of that control and knowing that shit's gonna happen no matter what, even if Braden's the one handling it, it's gonna happen. So it's just like at some point you have to allow yourself to step away and let someone move into that position where they might not handle it perfectly how you would have handled it, but they're getting it taken care of. And that takes so much weight off of you.
It's also going to take reps, though, too.
Yep.
Right? I'm speaking out of my ass here, but like I always say. But eventually you're going to figure out, like, hey, you're going to be able to coach that person how to do it, how Braden would do it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it the exact way you would want to ever. It's just like your kids, right? Your kids are never going to grow up to the people you want them to be. They are always going to be themselves. And you can accept them for that. And they're going to have things that are better than you and things that aren't. And I think that's the same thing with probably like all people and employees, where it's like, hey, dude, there's somebody out there that's going to be better than you at taking these phone calls.
Bullshit.
I will say that once I let Jennifer we got an office phone and then we started just giving this was before AI calls came in, but she took all the calls and it was amazing. And then she would just put it into the calendar when there was a bid. And a lot of times she'd be like, "Oh, you need a 10 by 10 patio done? Why don't you just send us pictures of the area and the access and we'll get you a bid." And then I never had to go out and do a bid. I just put it in on QuickBooks, whatever, send it out to him. And it was amazing. But she could do that stuff. And that was her idea was to kind of,
Filter it out a little
yeah.
bit.
Yep.
Like filter. And that's what actually was one of my thoughts. I'm like, I wonder if you could implement someone like Kylie to just filter it down to the necessities. So you don't have to hear the whole story and waste your whole effing day listening to someone complain about what their problem is. And you just get like the very minute details that are, mandatory. Where it's like, this happened, I got to do this.
I think the restoration world, it's hard. There's so many levels. And so you would almost have to have somebody, I guess maybe a GM, right? That knows every job, where we're at, what's going on, who's working on what step we're at. Because you're not just getting calls from customers, you're getting calls from subcontractors, you're getting calls from adjusters, you're getting calls from desk adjusters, you're getting, you know what I mean? So like we do have an office phone. It goes to our office and then it rings down a chain of command. But there's even times like my office is like, well, I got to get Braden on the phone or let me merge Braden. You know what I'm saying? And then there's sometimes I miss like the flooring world because it was like instant gratification. I'd go, I'd give a bid, I'd do the job. I was done, wash my hands. There's some jobs that we're on for 6, 9 months, you know? Like, you get a firehouse, for example, and then you do all the mitigation. It takes a couple months. You got content. I mean, it's a big job. And then you're in negotiations for just depends on the insurance company. And then that's when you're going back and forth, back and forth. And so you're not only communicating with them, but you also got to communicate with the customer. And then now the customer's getting a little fed up because now they're living in a hotel or whatever, for months and nothing's being done on their house. So I think like the restoration world, it's its own beast. I think you kind of working our socials, you're starting to kind of realize that it is a very big hungry machine. And so to try to give some of that up, I think Kai's right. I think you guys are all right that and we've tried it in the past and we've almost lost the company when me and Benson were doing it, where we tried to give some bigger responsibilities and they just weren't getting taken care of.
Does it mess
I
us up?
I agree. I think there's billion-dollar restoration companies. So, I mean, they do it somehow, right? But it's one of those things that as a baby company, it's hard to put that weight on somebody else for me, just for the simple fact that it's so big. It's so many moving parts that like I have a project manager for the mitigation side and he runs that for the most part. But then I'm also very involved in that. And then I got the recon side that I'm running solo. You know what I mean? So it's just big.
Do you think that one of the reasons, like we were talking earlier about like AI and like with your phone calls and taking out bids and like you said, trying to like filter it down, do you think a part of your thought process is because, like what you said at the beginning, how most of the time you go into a project, this is like that person's it's their life. It's their house. It's their biggest investment of their entire life. Do you think going automated or giving the reins off to somebody else is just extremely difficult because obviously you're passionate about it, but just because you care so much about it and you have to be so connected with these people because it is that large investment. And so it's difficult, for you to just give a snippet and be like, well, you want to be that personable. Do you think that goes into the success of your company? I guess is my point you know, I know, like you've talked the 12 a.m. phone calls, 5 a.m. texts, like that's probably something to a lot of those people. They're like, I can rely on this guy. This guy is going to go all out. You know what I mean? I think that has to play into a lot of it where you kind of feel that stress, but then again, you also get that in the sense like good and evil. It's like it sucks because you have such a burden, right? Because you feel that weight. But at the same time, like you know that these people are like, Braden, thank God you're a God. I think you are anyways, whatever.
Don't put me up there with the god status.
Kind of look like Zeus.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, but I also feel like I kind of try to put myself in their shoes. If my house, let's say, has a sewer backup, I don't want to talk to a machine, right? Like, I don't want an AI to be like, "Thank you for calling Idaho Disaster Pros. How may we assist you? Oh, what's going on?" And then a big questionnaire, right? Like, I would want to talk to a person, and that like, there's a lot of times that I'll just hang up trying to call whoever because I get a machine. I'm like, I don't want to answer your 15 questions to get to a goddamn person. So I think in some cases it probably works out great, right? But when you it's almost like if 911 dispatch was an AI, you're flipped upside down in a ditch and it's like, where are you located? What's going on? What's your first name? Like,
Sorry, I didn't get that.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
yep, that's the
Kylie,
problem.
I think AI and like Chat GPT and like all those on like our estimating and like with insurances, I think that's where, well, I know for a fact because we've gone to conferences and that's where they're saying the world's going to go to. Right. But I guess like for me personally and my company, I don't know if we'll ever have a machine answering our phones just because I would be pissed to call somebody or I kind of feel like we're second responders, right? Like we're not the big boys, we're not firefighters or cops or nothing like that, but we're like the next runner up when your house is on fire, right? You call the fire department, then here we are, right? So for me, I think having that person on that phone that can relate, you know, and I think it would make a difference, if you're calling me and you're like, "Hey, dude, I got my whole basement. I just got back from Italy or whatever, and my whole basement's flooded. I got mold everywhere." Like, you don't wanna talk to a machine, man. Like, you're gonna hang up, call the next dude. So, I think that when I'm answering customers at 10, 12, 5, if I don't do it then it builds up because it just depends on Kylie seeing it, Devin seeing it firsthand. Like, when the phone rings, it's another not necessarily a problem, but it's another situation. And it could be a good one, it could be a bad one, it could be another job, it could be a number of things, right? So it's like if you put it off, even I mean, maybe in the middle of the night you'd be all right, but like if I don't like solve it like then it just builds up, you know? It's like and maybe it's some of it's got to be my mindset, but I'm like it's like that book, like if it takes less than 10 minutes just do it. Because if you put it off, it's just gonna build, 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 right? And kinda like your story, like, if we do it first thing in the morning, but the problem is, like, my phone calls come all the time, so it's just like you gotta problem solve, you gotta make quick decisions and just move on, right? You can't like, whatever the decision is that you made, you just gotta accept it, good, bad, or ugly, and here we go, and I think that's another hard thing that is for somebody to make some decisions like that, right? So, like, trying to find that person that has that confidence to be like, "Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we're just gonna run with that. Yeah, go spend $3,000 on a vanity and we're done." Like, employees that are like, "Holy cow." But me as the owner, I'm like, "Yeah, well, we'll just make this work. Good, bad, or ugly, at the end of the day, I'm serving you." And I'm not saying that they're always right, but, like, just to keep the project moving, you know? Instead of being like, "Okay, I gotta talk to my project manager, and then he's gotta talk to so and" you know what I mean? So I think there's just a lot of and I think I bring it on a lot of myself because we've tried to give some responsibilities to people and then decisions aren't being made, projects are getting held up, and then it's just a big old mess, so it's hard.
Tyler, I think what you originally were when you were asking about, like, if it felt like that was him responding to those, right? And him being so on top of it was, like, a part of the success or a part of things that made it difficult is I think it's exactly that. Is, like, even though that it is hard for him, that is why he's done so well. And that's why, like, customers keep calling back, right? Like, that's why he's built such beautiful relationships is because people can rely on him, and he's so genuine and transparent, and he's not like the typical business owner that's like, "I'm in this for the money," which that's great, right? Money's great, but I think when people start a business, they have good intentions, and then quickly they can fall short when the money gets there, right? And Braden's mentality has remained the same the entire time of taking care of people. And so while that is his greatest strength and while he's done well, or why he's done well, it has hindered growth and our capability of like, how do we expand now? Because we need Braden, but we can't rely on Braden to wear every single hat in the company.
Yeah, I get that because where my head went when you guys were talking about this is some background on my dad, Devin, you know him. He owns a grocery store in Darby, and it's a small community. It's like a Baby Brolums. They kind of do all sorts of stuff there. And one of the biggest attributes he has as the business owner of the company of everything is that he's there all the time. And people come from, like Missoula's like 70 miles away, and there's people that will legitimately come down to the grocery store, not only just to buy their groceries, but to hang out with Gregory. It's like they just love the guy. And the cool thing about that, and it's kind of the same thing that you guys do, is that I'm all about ChatGPT. We've all talked at the last podcast, like we love it. We love to, mess with it. And it's like, your personal Bible slash business thing. But we had a conversation, I think, on one of our podcasts, how it's becoming like it's people are going to start thriving for human connection. And that's like what you guys do. Same thing like what my dad does. Like he has so many different built connections because of just being a personable businessman where everybody knows that Gregory is just going to be there with a smile on his face. There's a lot of elderly in the community that just like can rely on him to be like, Greg, I need your help, and that's what it reminds me of what you guys have going on. And so I was curious if you thought that was a big part of the success because I've seen it firsthand growing up with my dad's business, just seeing how being a personable, good human actually can make your business thrive.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it seems like. And that's the cool thing is that I see it, and so it's cool to see something in a different industry, totally different. Like my dad sells fucking broccoli, but it's different. Yeah, he makes good steak in the deli too. Shout out to Greg. But I think there's something to be said there where I think the future is really going to push us towards everything's going to be computers. You guys are kind of on an island where you're going to have to figure out ways to mitigate your mental health because you're going to have to keep going with this personal, well-being of like everybody in the companies of what you're doing for everybody around you. But it's going to have to, it's got to have to be tough.
So I want to be contradictory here. And because I've seen it in businesses and I've seen it in a lot of businesses and big businesses, disaster companies. I had a good buddy who owned one in Boise. Then he sold it for buku bucks and now he's a plumber. But he built it and people knew him as the owner, not because he was taking the calls and taking the jobs. They knew him as the owner because he was a networking fool. Like he had like I can't remember what he called it, but like on every Wednesday, he had like a potato feed or something like that, like at the shop. And it was like a business networking in Meridian. Like every business owner that was in the chamber came to it. So my point about this is like, you don't go to Walmart or you don't go to Disney and expect to see Walt Disney. You go to Disney knowing that you're not going to see Walt Disney when he was alive. You're going to see the characters. You're going to see the people that work behind the scenes. You're going to see the people that work there, whatever, because it's all built off of systems. But the owner set that all up to make it run and make it happen. But you don't go there and you're like, I didn't see freaking Walt Disney. What the hell is going on?
Well,
like,
you dead
how
son
is
of a
this
bitch.
business running and I didn't see him?
statue.
Yeah. So we just need to get you a statue.
So we need a Braden statue.
But you don't go to like,
And he's going to be a marble one with a big wiener.
yeah.
We got to make it realistic.
But you don't go to any of the businesses like that are big. You don't go to that business expecting to see the owner or expecting to call that phone number and say, I want to talk to the owner, because most places are going to be like, yeah, good luck. You got 5 people to talk to before you're going to get the owner. You're only going to get the owner if it's $100,000 dilemma or whatever, And it's not because they're jerks or not because they're insensitive or because there's, I don't know, whatever your excuse is. It's because there's systems in place that, for one, protect the owner, because we all know it's a mental grind and you can only take it for so long. Like, I was in the concrete business for 20 plus years and 13 of that was owning my own business. And you can only take it for so long before you're just like, I'm done. And so like those things are set into place partially for that. And then also because productivity and efficiency doesn't get done through the owner. It gets done through the employees and or the teammates for the benefit of everybody. Because a teammate can't grow. Like, let's say your lead guy, he can't grow and make $100,000 or $150,000 a year or whatever you can pay him. The sky's the limit. If he's always butting heads with you or running into you at a job and you're like, nope, do it this way. And then they become dependent on you. And then the guy below him can't move into his spot and it goes down the ladder.
Mhm.
So then your growth potential is capped.
Mhm.
And so anyways, that's my point, is like the owner ultimately has to get out of the way and then lead from the sidelines as a coach and let them play the game.
And that's where we're at, or that's where I'm at. The hardest thing is I guess just doing that, right?
Yeah.
The company owns me. I don't own the company.
You have a really high paying job right now.
Yeah.
It could pay higher, but
More.
but I mean that's the honest to God truth, right?
Yeah.
And going from the company owning me to me owning the company, it's not an easy task.
No, I get it.
And
Been there.
like right now, I think everything happens for a reason. And in the last 4 years, I've built a bunch of relationships. My teammates have built, like, we haven't had Google for over 3 months. Like, we don't even show up. So like the way we've kept our doors open is from our relationships. It is from those contacts and word of mouth and everything, you know? So exactly what you're talking about. We pay thousands of dollars for coaching and trying to get to that next level. But
Do you think question. So like the coaching and everything and what they're telling you, do you think you've implemented it? Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
what they've told you?
So
Because sometimes it's hard to like
mhm.
take even Tommy, when people give me advice, like people are giving me advice on stuff to do even with my $1 dream. And I'm like,
yeah, remember when I say I do everything the most expensive hard way? Yeah, so I spend thousands and thousands of dollars coaching, and then I'm like, yeah, that ain't gonna work. Well, and like I kind of talked with Devin a little bit. Like Southeast Idaho's in its own little bubble. Like we don't have a huge population. Like our whole state's like 2.2 million people, right? And I googled that because I was talking with a couple guys in Tennessee, and like where they service is 5 million,
Mhm.
right? So it's just like we're in our own little world, and like our prices are right up there with like Tennessee and like everybody else's prices, you know? So, and we're flooded with restoration companies. Last time I think we looked, there was 140 something registered restoration companies. Some of those are legit companies, and some of those are, hey, I'm a carpet cleaner. I'm going to put myself, and I have a fan. Like, who knows, you know, what they are. But even like the big boys here are only doing like 7 mil. And we're talking like Tobin, Paul Davis. Maybe Paul's more 10, but like, we don't have any like $100 million companies around here. Like, there's some companies in our coaching program that are doing um 1.2, 1.5 million a month. You know, it's just they do crazy numbers. So like a lot of I call it mining for nuggets, gold nuggets. Like because what works for them, it's hard to implement here, kind of, because we don't have the population, we don't have the same, you know, they say 1 out of every 10 houses has a disaster. So if you take however many that is, divide, you know what I mean? So in our area, we're like 280,000. You divide that by 10, that's roughly what you kind of, but then if you take 1.5 million, you know, so the chances of getting calls and stuff are way higher. And some of that's probably making excuses, but there's facts to that too, right? Like, I mean, numbers are what numbers are. Like, we can't change those. But that's the battle that I've had forever. And I think a lot of it is it's hard to let go. It's hard to put the company in someone else's hands.
Yep.
Like
so where
right
do
now, I'm the
nug-
quarterback. I control what happens. If I'm the coach and quarterback, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like it's don't get me wrong. You can be a great coach, but for me, trying to get there, and once again, I've talked to other business owners. I've talked to very successful people, and 9 times out of 10, they're like, "Just do it." Okay.
what I'm curious, and I honestly don't know, like what part of the numbers is holding you up from letting go?
Well,
I
I think a lot of that's kind of what you were touching on. Like we're just been sustained, and so like my teammates can't really grow. We can't really do a whole lot, and it's to the point where I take a big gamble and I bring in a couple big players and pay them a healthy sum and hope that business picks up. But if it doesn't,
I mean, you seem like a gambling man. See, I think you've done this before. You're here, baby.
yeah.
And you did it once when
But
you
it's
freaking sold the
scary.
dirt bike.
You know, it's
And you
scary.
did it once when you freaking did the carpet cleaning. And like, we're gonna figure this out, Braden.
It's not necessarily figuring it out. I think it's more so just
Doing it.
yeah, doing it. And right now there's a mental block in myself where I sometimes question and like, why the hell do I do it? You know, like
Is it
why?
because it feels safe? Is it like you know you're safe right now?
I mean, I think if we sustained where we're at, me and Kai, we'd be fine.
Yeah.
But
It's because
my teammates aren't going, you know, there's no growth for them.
Yeah.
And but I when I first started, I was like, you know, I want to make $100,000. Then I want to make 500,000. I'm like, dude, if I made 1 million, this would be dope. Then I made 1 million. Then I made 3 million. And then I was like, holy shit, dude, I want to go back to 300,000. Like the headaches were gone. You know what I mean? So it's just like I think another part that scares me is, hey, if I go from 3 to 5, like do it. Sometimes you take on that much more headache, but there's no more benefit. Like you're not making any more money. So for me, I'm like, is the headache worth the little bit of money or not? Right? Like every company, you kind of go to where they call it the plateau. Like this is where you're most profitable. And then it's like not until you get to 12 mil where you hit that another where you're like, okay, now I'm making money again. So it's just like we're doing pretty good. But if I go to 5, am I climbing or am I going around and we're making more as a company, but now I got more headaches. We got more, you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, it doesn't feel
everything's
worth it.
more.
Yeah.
So it's like, and we never reached that milestone. And so I think a part of me, it's like to do that, I know I'd have to bring on like 4 or 5 other guys. And those positions that I would need to hire for are 6-figure jobs, so you're $500,000 in just salary now.
I'm a pretty good employee. I could probably take on 4. What does that pay?
How many salaries do I get if I do 4 jobs?
Well,
Don't screw
I
me.
do a whole bunch of jobs and my salary sucks.
I've got a few personalities that'll
Yeah.
work out great for this.
But that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You can't just hire people if the jobs aren't consistent, right?
Mm.
And that's something that we learned with our coaching is we can't get one big job, for example, like that one you came on with us, and I brought in what, like 10 temp helpers.
Yeah.
But what we would normally do, we'd hire a few guys, and we're like, heck yeah, and then oh no, we're slow again, or the phones aren't ringing,
Yeah.
So I think it's like I'm in this weird spot where it's like I know I need to go like kind of market and kind of go sell myself or make ourselves known, but I'm so involved in the company that I can't grow the company because if I step away, things crumble and fall apart. But I can't really bring other people on because I'm not working on the company. Does that make sense? Like it's like what something has to break.
Is it Google? Like, you think when Google's back?
I don't know.
I think we need a couple obstacles we have right now is like we need winners. We need people who want to fight and want to grind and want to like they believe in the company like we believe in the company, right? They want to grow with us. And so we need right people, right places, and to hold them accountable for their positions that they're in. We've not done a good job at that currently because you build a relationship with these people. We end up kind of being friendly with them, right? And then it's kind of like, it's uncomfortable to tell them the hard things. It's uncomfortable to say, like, you're doing a shit job.
What
know what I
the
mean?
hell was that?
Yeah. And so I think like we've felt this exactly what Braden said is like roadblock because it's like we need to get the right people in so we can implement the systems well. So Braden has the opportunity to work on the business. Right now, I think he's so involved inside of the business, it's taking away from really everybody, including himself, because his focus on is on day-to-day problems. It's not the big shit. And that's where he needs to be is in like bigger picture. He shouldn't be taking on those calls, right? And so
I
until
think
we
that should be you.
will.
You go run the big shit. I'll just
I
be a
want to.
worker.
Until we can and I think part of that is just choosing to do it, but also, again, it's like because we've had difficulties getting right people, right places, there's more hesitancy on, I think, Braden's side a lot is like, you don't wanna let the customer down, and every time you bring someone new into that, I think you're risking that a little bit, but it's also like, at some point, it's gonna work. It's just allowing it.
Well, and like word of mouth travels, especially in a small community.
Oh, yeah.
So one fuck up, it takes 20 Attaboys to bury it, right? Like that old saying. So, I mean, I think it comes down to I'm just a big pussy. That's what it is. So
Nah, that ain't it. I think what you said, man, you gotta block and it's not going to be easy to overcome that because of probably your past experiences, right? Like why do I always go back to these books? I go back to these books, right? It talks about your brain, right? And it literally
what's
I well, I don't know because I don't have one.
I mean either.
But it talks about your brain, what it does, and it tries to justify its existence all the time. And so it's going to take everything that's ever happened to you in your past and project everything that's going to happen to you in your future. And you're going to keep yourself safe based off everything. That's why we have childhood trauma. That's why we have to do all this shadow work. It's because you are protecting yourself always, constantly from any of that ever happening again. And so you've experienced almost losing the company. You know what it's like to not have money. You know what it's like to take these big risks and try something that was hard and it didn't work out and you saved it. But you're like, "Oh shit, well I can't do that again or that's going to happen again." That's what your brain is telling you. And I mean this isn't me just making this up. Like I didn't write the book, right?
You just put me on blast, dog.
I do the same thing though. There's decisions that I won't make based on my past, and it's a freaking block. Like you said, it's a block. I think Tommy's, I mean, talked about some of this stuff as well. But I don't know. Have you experienced any of that in yours?
Yeah, I think it was 5, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago now, before we left Boise, I took a big leap and I hired a guy. Basically, I hired him as a concrete finisher, but then he was an older dude that, like I say older, he was like, I don't know, 55 or something like that or 50. And so like ancient in the concrete industry. And I was like, "Hey, Terry, why don't you start bidding for me?" And he was like, "Oh, I'd love that. Then I can go and I kind of get off the job and I go bid." And he was great. Did an awesome job, like very personable. My profit margins went up like 9% because I got off of the job, like, or I got out of the bidding. I started looking at the dude's bids and I was like, "Terry, you're charging like $1.50 more a square foot for flat work than I was." And he's like, "Yeah, we're probably too cheap, aren't we?" And I was like, "You're saying you're bidding too cheap?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Dude, you were more than I was." And he's like, "Yeah, I know you were way too cheap. I'm too cheap. We should raise our prices even more." And I was like, "Holy crap." But it was because I had this personal block of like, well, I can't charge Betty that much. And he's like, "That's what it freaking costs. That's what we're charging. That's what it costs to run a business." And I'm like, "You're right. That's what it is." And then like he started running the crew and basically he took over like a general manager position by like just working his way into it. And everything, I can't say everything was like awesome, but it was pretty dang good. Like I had to put out fires, but it wasn't like every day because I didn't have to pay attention to the guys and the bids and the billing and answering the phones and doing everything else. So like I got that one thing off my plate and then I was able to go out and do, you know, meet with other people or go do big bids, commercial bids, stuff like that. And then I came to Idaho Falls and I brought a guy with me. Well, he wasn't as good as Terry was. And I ended up getting pretty, not screwed. Like he did a good job for the most part, but he didn't do the best job. And so some of our name was tarnished, like you're saying. But at the same time, like as soon as I realized and he left, like I was able to jump right back into it and hit the ground running. Now our profits are up 200% of what they were last year. And so, like, not saying, and if I could find a guy, I would put him in there tomorrow. Actually, I'm putting a guy in there Monday and he's going to buy the business. But like, they're there.
Does he want to buy mine?
We'll talk later. I'll buy your business. No, Kylie's going to run it and you're going to be the
I'm gonna be
foreman.
the worker.
Yep.
You're gonna get to still do everything you wanted to do.
I'll just take the phone away from you. But I get it. Like, I do. It's super hard to take your baby, something that you grew from nothing, and then just like hand it off to, I don't know, some dude that's has no care to own a business or, who knows what their story is, right? And it's like, yeah, bud, go take this $5 million a year business or 10 million or whatever it's at, and you can run it. And it's like, but there is somebody out there to do it. And then it's just setting it up to where it's Jimmy can manage 4 people or like whatever your org chart is, that he manages the restoration side and the rebuild side, or the not restoration. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then those 2 managers manage these guys down here and whatever. And then a sales team.
So that's the ideal, right?
Um,
And like
it's easy. I know it is.
the recon side, it just spits people out.
Yeah.
I've tried it quite a few times with like people that worked side by side with me, brought in the guy that owned his own business. Like it just, I don't know. You got to find that special kind of stupid like me that's just willing to do it, right? So I think that guy's out there, or that gal. Maybe that's what it is. I got to get someone with tits.
It's definitely that.
What's the hard part about that side? Is it, and actually the first thing that comes to my mind is it 2-person job. instead of just a one-person job. Because is it
Well,
too
I do
much?
it.
Well, yeah, I know.
You're 4 people. Remember the salary thing we were talking about?
You're 4 guys making $25,000 a year.
Yeah. No, I think it could. I honestly think it could be a one-person job. I mean, I give maybe 10 hours to it, and it runs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if one guy had 40 hours to make sure that it's running, like, I don't see why, right? But the hard thing is I'm only giving 20% to each one of these. So it's like I don't know if our head's above water. We might have a straw, but I mean we're there, right? But it's you got to be able to just like multitask. Like you got to be able to manage sometimes only 3 jobs, sometimes 14 jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I don't like it's hard work, but I don't think it's hard. And I don't know if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you put me on a computer, I'm screwed.
It's mentally mind.
Yeah, but like I think that's why I'm saying like I've tried where like a guy that worked within our company for 3 years and it didn't work. And then I tried another construction owner, and it didn't work. And it's just like, man, I've tried a guy that was just a manager. Like, man, if you can manage, like this should be easy. Like here's a job. This is in-house. This is subcontracted. Like here we go. You just put the pieces. I guess it's not like that. Like but I think a lot of it, like Terry, I think if we could find a guy that was hungry and that wanted to grow, like we're the perfect company because that's what I want. It's like we try to surround ourselves with who we want to be like, right? Or who we want to surround ourselves with. So that's like when Kai was saying we get pretty personable with our teammates and, because I don't have a big turnaround. Like most of the team's pretty happy, right? So like that's a win in itself, but at the same time it's like sometimes it is hard to be like, "Hey Braden, get your fucking shit together and go do your job." Because it's like Mrs. Smith. I'm like, "Oh, okay, sorry." Right? But like I think that's also what makes me me, right? Like they are loyal. Like if something comes up, my whole team's like, "Hell yeah, I'm in. What are we doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we got a whole basement, 3 feet of shit water." Like, "All right, sweet."
We'll suck it out with
And
the
they're
straw.
yeah,
The
like
straw I'm breathing with.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, we have some winners, and I have some, like, technicians and, like, project or, crew chiefs that wanna grow, and so, like, I on that same token, I'm like, "Dude, I'm kinda failing my team." I think you were there when I had that meeting, I'm like, but it's just this weird teeter-totter that it's like, there's pros on this, and there's pros on this, and, if you could go back and forth, like, all playing ping pong.
Yeah.
Like, this could be good. This could be bad. This could be good. No, this could be bad. No, that's horrible.
Yeah.
We're out. Like it's
I think what's crazy in my mind, the way I see it play out, right? 5 years.
I'm homeless and you're giving me $100.
You said you're homo. Shit, man. This guy's digging for trash. He needs me with the $1 dream.
Remember when I donated to that?
I didn't need that back. I really think the crazy, and this is even, I mean, I've experienced this, so you already know what's going to happen. Like, you already know. Deep down, you're smiling.
I'm scared. I'm like, I just told you what was going to happen. You're like, you already know. You're going to be homeless on the side of the street.
You know the decision you have to make, whether it's like clear or not, you know what has to happen. You feel it, right? You already know. In 5 years, you're going to look back at this time and be like, why did I wait so long? Me too. But like, and I think I still think you have to go through that process of battling that. Like, it has to be a battle. It can't just be like, I think everybody has to learn that in some form or fashion, and we all continuously learn it, but you already know what you're going to do. You already know what you have to do.
Jesus, will you tell me?
He's tattooed on your leg.
Oh, yeah.
think
He's
this
pulling
goes
me out
back-
of my drowning water, dog.
It's been written.
Yeah.
I think this
Jesus,
goes back
pull
to
me
two
out.
things we've talked about already is number one, being scared,
Yeah.
right? And like having past experiences that kind of hold us back a little bit, but also doing what Tommy said is like doing the hard thing, right? And it's like every time you do that hard thing, your brain rewires itself.
Yes.
Every single time it rewires
Mine's
and rewires
short-circuited.
and rewires. And sometimes
I
you
need a
blow a
fuse.
fuse.
New fuse.
But it's like, I think once that decision is made and we're able to find that person or we're able to, like, the shitty thing is like we know we need a project manager, and have we put out an ad for it?
Afford one.
Not a chance.
Yeah, you
we
can't.
haven't.
You can't afford not to have one.
It's
That's
like it's
that's
that
actually
hard,
it's the
right?
mindset right there. So Alex Hermosi the other day, I was listening to a I don't know, whatever he does.
That guy.
Yeah. But he said, if you go out and you pay any teammates listening to this, don't go to Braden for 1.5 more. But he says, if you pay somebody 1.5 times what their actual rate should be, like, or like market rate.
Mhm.
So let's say like your superintendent would get 100 grand. If you pay him 150 grand, will he do twice as much work and do it a quality job? And then most business owners say, well, I need a superintendent for 100,000. And then you're so overworked and you're like, oh shit, I need another superintendent for 100,000.
Mhm.
Instead of paying the one superintendent 150,000 and he'll do more work more efficiently.
You're a more qualified person.
We actually talked
Will
about
you
this.
pay me 150,000? I'll do it. I won't even complain anymore.
We've talked about this a lot we talked about it at our conference. We've talked about it with our business advisors. And that's exactly what they talk about is like whatever the
20%.
market rate is, you pay them 20% more.
Yeah.
And, I think Braden jokes about not being able to afford it and whatever. It's like, obviously we can afford it. It's just like,
Scary.
it's scary. Yeah. Because you want to find that right person and like
Just
you
not
want to
consistent.
invest in
That's
the
what's
right
scary. Like one day or 1 week, we'll have 12 floods. More
Yes.
weeks or whatever.
What if can you do a trial? I mean, it sucks for the one person if the trial doesn't work, but like, I mean, maybe that's messed up, but like, give yourself 6 months. Train this person for 3, however that works, and you go out and you build your business like you're supposed to
Yeah.
for 3 months and see what happens. Your phone's going to be
I-
ringing,
I'm a-
bitch, at 12 a.m.
Well, that's
and
exactly-
you're going to be.
But that's what I'm also afraid about. I can grow the company.
I know you can.
I'm worried that I'll grow it and we'll fumble.
We won't.
And then we
See, shut that off.
Yep.
We're going to kill that.
So-
We're
There's
killing
yourself.
that.
Yeah. So there's two.
but that's a legit fear.
I get it. And
Like-
I don't get it, but I understand.
For example, if I get three-story losses in the same week,
We'll get it.
Sounds like you need to call ARS and come take one of them, or ServPro or somebody. You sub 'em out.
my name.
Whoever, I don't know, just
But
sub it.
Or
like-
we do exactly what we did when we got all of those big
yeah,
jobs.
the Express.
Yeah, we
employment?
hire a couple.
Hire our
Temp
special
jobs.
ed people.
Yeah.
Like, what if you did? I mean, there's a lot of things. Have you heard about like people at the top are collaborating, right? As you grow, you're not always going to be in this competition. And as if it gets to that point where you're like, I do need backup, Tobin, you fucking bitch. Not that, but I don't know I don't know if anybody, like, I just know they're a
Whatever you want.
restoration company.
Yeah.
But like, hey, Tobin,
We didn't mean
Blake, I don't-
You work out with another disaster company.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say that.
We actually,
Yeah, but you
have-
could collab with them, right?
let me
Like,
get
I
you
do
that.
the
You
same-
sit down.
I do the same thing with concrete. Is like if I get jobs and I'm too busy, I'll just sub them out to another dude that I know.
Yeah.
And like I know he's going to go do a good job, and I trust that it's going to happen. And it's like the people sometimes don't know that it's even not my company doing it. I mean, they're going to know if somebody rolls up with a different truck and logos, but at the same time, it's like I don't think people necessarily care about that. If I subbed you out, if I called you, Braden, I was like, dude, my basement's flooded, and all of a sudden,
awesome.
Austin's company rolls up, I'd be like, Braden came through.
thanks for getting me
Yeah,
taken
you
care of.
Yep.
still did it. Yeah, you
Yep.
still got the work done.
Like, I called you and you made sure it was happening. And then I call you up and I'm like, Braden, what's up, dude? And you're like, man, I'm sorry. I was on this job, but we got you taken care of. Let me know what you got. If you need anything, holler at me.
Because ultimately it comes
Okay,
down to the
cool.
customer, right?
Yep.
It comes down to taking care of the customer. You're going to do whatever you can, take care of that customer. Whether it's you doing it or not.
Yep.
We did it. We solved all the world's problems in 14 seconds.
What else you need to know?
You're welcome, Trump.
What other problems you got? Do you like to read books? Do you like to listen to books?
Listened to more books in the last couple years than I have probably the
His
35
entire
years
life.
I've been.
So a good book is 10x is easier than 2x.
Someone was talking to me about that this morning.
And it talks about all of this stuff. Like you want to grow your business. I don't know what you're at right now, 5 million. Let's say you want to be a $50 million company. So you put your sights at $50 million. What do I have to do to get to 50 million? And it actually becomes easier to get to 50 million than it would be to get to 10 million because you're going to put those systems, people, and processes into place that to get you 50 million, and then you don't have a choice but to blast past 10 million and then 20 million, 30 million. And I know it's easier said than done. Like it's all every
Well,
every
and
bit we're talking about.
the crazy thing is I've spent I don't know how many hours and how much money on systems and roles and responsibilities, and then it's like we talk to one coach and they're like, oh yeah, this is great, and then we talk to like another and they're like, it's way too complicated, like you got to dumb it down. And I think it's just like we got to figure out what works for us, and I just don't have the time. Like I don't have enough time to work on the business.
I
And
get
so like I tell there's only 24 hours in the day, love. Like I don't know what else you want from me.
Well, I think it comes
So
down
like I
listen.
try to tell Kai, I'm like, then you do it. Like take it on, you know? And she's like, well, I don't I'm like, you just tell the teammates like I need this now. Fucking stop what you're doing and give it. You know what I mean? Like because that's where I need somebody, like I was telling Devin, like I need someone to check and balance me, right? Like be like, do it. But
If they
I
do
don't
check
know.
and balance you, do you
Until
accept
you're
it?
in it, it's easy to look through a glass window, right? But until you're like in the shit and you're like, Jesus, what? Like, there's some days I don't know what's up and what's down. I'm swinging.
Yeah.
Hopefully I hit something. But like, like there's days like that, you know, where I'm just like, Jesus, man, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. And I think ultimately you still do know what to do. Deep down, you know, bro. You can't tell me that.
I'm gonna retire.
Do it. Sell it.
That's the best.
I'm gonna be unemployed.
Let's just all do the $1 dream.
We'll only have $1.
Yeah, well, we only got $1 to share, people. We can't even get a McDonald's freaking no.
Nope, that dollar menu just inflated.
I mean, and I think it comes down to one. And we've talked about this before, right? And I don't even know why I even say this shit, but it's like figuring out the first thing you can do, whatever that one thing is, because you know you have time to do one thing. And I will say this because I've done this to myself. I think I am way busier than I am. And I'm not saying I'm not busy, but I know I tell myself I'm busier than I am. And I think my brain will tell me that too. So I have excuses not to do the things I do not want to do.
So like
So
I'm pretty busy.
I'm not saying you're not busy, but it's like I know for a fact every single person I've ever talked to, I'm so fucking busy. Bitch, like I have multiple friends and I'm like, fucking check yourself. That's why I put the energy audit in the known, because I'm like, you are way more convinced that you are busy than you actually are. Where are you putting your time? Where is your time going?
I think it comes down to like how bad do you actually want it? Right? For how long did you say I don't have time to work out? I don't have time to go to the fucking gym. It's like you made the time.
Now he's
Some
got
point,
bigger arms than me.
at some point, like you'll find the time.
You're walking home.
Can you guys tell I like to challenge Braden?
Yeah, me too. We're gonna challenge him.
Is that why he calls you daddy?
Have you seen her arms?
Yeah.
For
Melon challenge.
squish me like a bug.
But I mean, I get it. Like, I'm not trying to like put you on blast or anything because I know because I'm guilty of that shit. And then when I realized it and I literally did the energy audit that I put in that group, I'm like, holy shit. I am lying to myself.
Yeah.
One. And then I started looking at all my friends that said they were so busy. And I'm not going to say any of their names, but they might be listening to this. This isn't you. This isn't you. And I'm like, you are telling yourself this shit. And I'm like, you might have a busy day, right? Everybody has one of those days where it's like boom, 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 boom. But it's typically followed up with somewhere during that week where you get to not have a day like that. And whether you want to do something about the hard problems that are keeping you in this rhythm or not during that time where you don't have to do that, that's up to you. But you're going to consistently tell yourself, I'm so busy, I can't do anything, and I just want to breathe. Well, you could breathe a lot more if you just did the thing you didn't want to do. That's going to take you to that next level. That's going to let you breathe forever.
I think sometimes like the fight's out of you, right?
Yeah.
Like you put so much energy into just, let's say you are overboard, right? You're swimming and you're just fighting and fighting. And like eventually you're just like, okay, I have no more fight. I have no more fucks to give, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm just done. And I'm not saying I've got to that. I mean, I've gotten to that point in the past, but like when you do have time, like you just don't have any to give for it, right? Like you're just
Mhm.
like, you know what? Nope, not today. Like, yep, I have the time, but I don't want to put this free time to this bullshit that
Yeah.
I don't, you know?
The other thing that
And like that's another excuse, but that's real. Like
yeah.
that's real for me. Like, I'm just like, you know what? No.
I don't think there's a right or a wrong, right? I don't think there's only like what makes you feel good and what doesn't is what it comes down to for me.
I like bitching.
If it makes you feel good, then enjoy. But I think I don't know. I think about this stuff and I'm like, I mean, ultimately, what are we all searching for, right? Is this place to just be okay and to be happy and to be where you want to be and to know you're being a good dad or a good friend and a good teammate, right? And it's like, you got to take care of you and you know how you're going to do that, right? Like, you know what's got to happen. Kylie, you need to help him in the Hellcat later. Be a good teammate.
So I had
But-
this conversation with my brother this week, and it was about time and money. And when we're like, I don't know, probably in 20 to like 35 ish, you're in this like money. You're like, I want money, I want money, I want money. I'll trade my time for money, whatever. And everybody's different. But then you get to a certain point in in your life, or certain life events happen, and you become like this little switch starts to dial, and you're like, now I want time, not money. And so you start thinking about that, and that's where I'm at in my life right now. Is like, I'd rather have more time than I would money. Like I'd go back to like 60 grand a year, 50,000, 40,000, whatever, if I could, and to get my time back to where if I could work like 4 hours a day and make way less money and be able to spend all that time with my kids and working on other things that give me energy, I would do it in a heartbeat. And so I think about that, and it's like if we have that focus in like in front of us, and that's our goal is to have that time, what could we do in 6 months? Like we know we can't do it right this second because you would just like you'd blow it up, right? So what happens if you're like, okay, in 6 months I want my time back. I want to have, I don't know, I want to have Fridays off so we can go camping for 3 days or whatever, or go ride razors or whatever it is. So Monday through Thursday, I'm going to work 8-hour days, and I want to have Fridays off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off every single week. What do I have to do to get there? And then if you set up your goals and you set it up to where that happens, then you can work it backwards and figure out what you have to put into place now. And then you have something in mind going, okay, I got to have Susie, who's my bookkeeper, and this, or, and I got to have this dude in here and I got to have this dude in here. And then you start working it as like, here's what I do in my day. All right, Fred, you're going to take this now. And now you're the dude that does all this. And I know, again, it's easier said than done. But if you work it backwards, at least you have a goal in mind. Because right now you're trying to eat an elephant in one bite. Because it's like, I want to have this whole business self-ran. Go. And then you don't know. You're like, whoa, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I think the elephant in one bite thing is like probably the majority of everybody's problem, right? And I would do the same thing. Even when I was quitting my job, I'm like, I have to figure out what I'm doing next. I have to immediately replace all my income. I have to have all these things. I'm trying to figure it out all at once, but it is a step. I got to take bites, right? And then when I did quit, right, it's like, okay, holy shit, I'm still alive. And I actually feel way better about my life. And like, I do have this time now where I'm like, so let's quit, Brayden. But I think it does come down to like, again, just fighting your like the mental block. It's not little, right? It's a very big block, right? I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. But then it comes down to just figuring out, okay, what are my little steps that I can do? Putting your energy into that first thing in the morning, whatever it is, that time, like when do you feel best? And that's why I like to do everything before noon because I know everything that happens before noon gets the best of me. Everything that happens afternoon, I'm either tired, I've got other things I'm thinking about, that kind of stuff. But did your kids hit you up? Are they okay?
Mhm.
You guys
We're
are looking at each
texting.
other.
No, not me and Braden. I'm texting Jacoby.
53 minutes past my bed.
I got distracted. ADD. Oh, the best of me, right? Like, yeah, what stuff needs to get the best of you for your work, right? And then that ultimately feeds into the end of my day as well because I'm like, okay, I got the things done that were hard that I didn't want to deal with or that I did want to deal with, but I knew would be hard. And I get to like go home and not worry about that shit too. And has made my relationships with my kids better, my wife better, everything, because I'm just a happier human being. I'm like, I'm not carrying all this weight anymore. And does that happen perfectly every day? Absolutely not. But more often than not, when I focus on that and I put down like these little checklist items of like, this has to get done, this has to get done. Okay. And I know yours is different too, because right, you're constantly getting phone calls, you're getting these jobs, blah, blah. But I think that's again thinking about taking it all in one big bite rather than like, let's just simplify something, one thing. Figure that out, habit stack it, right? All right, we do this, and then that leads to this, and I get this reward. Blowjob. I don't know. Like, Kylie, you might have to get in on this.
I'm gonna be the one putting in the old work.
Yeah, he's gonna be the worker now. Dang.
Overwork.
About time.
And I like it sucks because ultimately anybody can say whatever they want and give you all the advice and blah blah. Deep down, it's up to you. You got to feel it. You got to know it. And I think you do, right? I'm already like I know your story enough to know what's going to happen next.
Will you tell me?
You're going to do it, and you're going to fight everybody that tells you to do it until you're like, okay, I'm going to do it on my terms. I think that's just if I know anything about
The
you,
hardest and most expensive way. Yep.
like I don't think this is how I see Braden. Nobody can tell you what to do, right? And it's not in a rude way. It's just like, no, I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it. And if I tell you to do something, you almost put it off longer than if you're going to do it tomorrow. And then I told you to do it like, no, I'm going to do it in 2 months now.
You have to play opposites with him. Don't hire a project manager. That's a terrible idea.
That is the stupidest thing. And do not pay them $250,000 to name him Devin Hess.
I tried to hire you. You told me to pound sand.
You're like, this guy is kind of creeping me out. But I think there's like, I don't know. Yeah, my brain spins on all this shit. And I have told you guys this, like any of my friends and even I think it comes down to this provider piece where you're a man, you're like, I want to fix things for my friends. I want to fix things for my family. Like if there's a problem, I want to be the solution, which is bad, I think, because I feel like I'll come in and probably piss people off. And if I've ever done that to you, you can tell me to shut the hell up, Devin.
Better be pissed off than pissed on.
I've been pissed on before
Yeah, me
and not
too.
by my wife.
On Braden?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. He did it to me first.
In the shower?
I'm like, if you're gonna, yeah. If
Did you
you're
just
gonna
go down
mark your
Japanese
territory-
style? Like what'd
We
you
got
do?
off
It's
the
not a
rails.
good look, you guys.
Did you kind of squatty potty it onto his foot?
Dude, she hits me mid hip. It's ridiculous.
What the heck?
Is
Do you have one of those pee cups and you just blast it out? This is not Idaho Disaster Pros anymore. This is someone else.
It's not a good look.
They won't be listening.
No, I mean the squat. That's bad.
Hold in the shower. It's a real deal. It's a real deal. You had athlete's foot.
I cured it.
I heard it has to kind of run. Like it's got to run its course.
Yeah.
Down, freak.
Maybe you can cure my back.
Give me vibes, whatever that. Shingles. Freak.
Those are real too.
Dude. All I know is like, I think it's cool. Everything you got going on, dude, is freaking awesome. It's cool. I've not ever come close to doing what you're doing. And so I actually feel stupid when I tell you the things that I've read because it's not like I'm over here. Well, I have all this experience in having a $5 million business. But I think there are a lot of things at least somewhat relatable in life and business.
Well, and the funny thing is you don't have to have a degree, Like everybody's like, you just went and started one.
Well,
Most very successful people don't even have to graduate from high school,
Yeah.
So like our president of the United States didn't even graduate high school.
I didn't know that. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Devin, I think there's a lot of power in you not being in Braden's shoes, right? Because then you're able to see so much more than what Braden's seeing because he has to
'Cause I'm
be
blind?
focused.
I think your tunnel vision got a little
Not
bit
like-
of pee in your eye.
Like having blinders on isn't the
Has it?
right term for him, but essentially he is so laser focused on like even the problem for that day that it's harder to broaden his mind, right? And you're hearing what he's saying, you're watching him day to day, you're on the job sites, you're seeing the employees, and it's like there's a lot of power in being kind of the naive person there because you ask the questions that we don't always think about, or you have the ideas that it's like, it seems obvious, but it's not always implemented. I think even though you feel like you're undervaluing the fact that you read all these books and have all these things to say, like in my mind, it's incredible every time I'm like, we should do that. Yeah, I read that once too.
You're fluffing up my ego, dude.
I do offer snacks.
Hey, dude,
Yeah.
you have a cool place to
We have
work.
a lot of snacks.
I will say that, like, first time I walked in there, I'm like, dude, this is awesome, actually. And they're good snacks. It's not like cheap
It's
snacks.
good snacks.
Devin likes snacks.
I do, man.
Red Bull and Monsters.
Dude, Red Bull
Are
Monsters
you
bottles.
fifth is or your end?
It's like that business park over by like not Rocknacks, Wolverine.
Yeah.
You don't have
Hayden.
a shop up by the railroad tracks down off of like Yellowstone and
Well, yeah.
That's
like,
Idaho Fire and Flood, I think you're thinking of.
oh
That's
yeah,
Brando.
like Dry It Yourself Center
He's
and
cool.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's Brando.
okay.
Yeah, he's
We like him.
one day I'll be like Brando.
Brando can come in when you're in over your head and help you out.
Brando does do that. He's really great. Yeah.
We already got all the answers.
It's one of those ego things, right? Like no one wants to ask for help.
Yeah. And there is a block with that too. And we're actually talking about this today. Everything I've learned with social media is crazy because most people will not go on there and talk about the things they want, their desires, their dreams. But when you do, it connects you to things that were not possible until you did. Communicating what you need and what you want and getting over the ego, which everybody has.
Yeah.
And like even the people that say they don't have an ego, I'm like, I'm almost convinced you have more of an ego when you tell me you don't, but like, cause I think everybody is instinctively selfish. Anyways, getting over a little bit of that, like it's okay to communicate that are those cookies? What was that?
I don't have any idea.
Satan?
It's our kids knocking at the door.
Hi, Saley.
I don't know. Are we
What time
almost
is it?
done? 9:02.
Do we need to go over the fireworks?
Probably. All right, dude. We'll be out in a bit.
10 minutes.
The Razor has headlights.
You're gonna have to edit this podcast, so we're gonna have to cut this out.
No, this is real. This is life.
Yeah, this is real life.
Are you not fireworking it, Saley? You're not gonna go to the fireworks?
You can.
Tu Papa says,
She's like,
"Si,
"Mom said no."
señorita."
Did mom say no?
It's bedtime. I agree.
Well, Dad said that Saley can go with you, so you can tell Mom that Devin said.
You want that, Saley? You want that?
You're sleeping on the couch,
I
bro.
guess, dude. I don't know what's going on.
I
I
don't
can't
know.
hear anything in these headphones. What were we talking about?
Egos
Egos.
and how mine's big.
No, I don't think like it's hard to ask for help ultimately, but it's the same thing I just did on my freaking Instagram stories today. Like, hey, I can't raise $1 by myself. Like,
I need some help.
yeah, like this is going to take a community and it's going to take a community of people to help you build your business. It's the same thing with anything else. Like, hey, I'm still here. Like, help me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the people are like, hell yeah, I'll help. Dude,
Yeah.
my stories today have raised $1,000. That's freaking cool. I looked at that before we came down here. I'm like, just for me telling the story, saying what I wanted, and like, I don't even know if I really even asked anybody for money. I just told them like, hey, these are these things. I'm like, sick, rallied the people.
Kylie, did we donate our dollar?
Yeah, you guys did the 1,000.
didn't.
That's how I raised it. Freak.
I think that with ego, that you always have to be checking yourself.
Yeah.
It's helpful when you have
good to
people. It's helpful when you have the right people behind you that are willing to challenge you or push you, past those hard things. Because it's like when you're in this mindset of like, I'm not talking about you right now. This like sometimes we have this like poor picked on me mentality. Like, man, my life's fucking hard. I don't have the time. I'm too busy. And it's like bullshit. Pull your panties up.
He says
You-
panties. You're talking about.
But it's like
Cut this shit. We're out.
Kylie's getting fired up.
earlier Tyler asked like the struggles of starting a business, right? And the biggest hurdles and obstacles we went through. And I think it's the same from the beginning as it is today, and it's self-doubt. But also it's like you've got to have some grace with yourself. And that like having grace and like moving past that self-doubt are two of the hardest things I think for anyone to do. So then also when you're trying to check your ego, ask for help, like it's a lot that I think all in one has so much power if you're able to like bulldoze through that.
Yeah.
It's just doing it.
I think there's a little bit piece too that's like, I don't know if you call it ego or what, but I mean, you have to have some sort of self-confidence to know like, I will figure this out. Like,
Yeah.
And you can call that ego, whatever it is, but like, and you're the only person that's going to be able to do it. And I've experienced that in some of my stuff I'm doing. Like, ego or not, I am going to be the one to do this. I've already tried with a couple other people and it's not the same. And that ultimately told me like, okay, it's up to me.
I think if you thinking about it in the way it works in my head is like in order to do something and be successful at it and to go out on your own, it's not like you're really obviously you can't have ego, but you almost have to be like gracefully arrogant in a way where you kind of have to know that like in a way you're taking a leap, quit your job, starting a business. So you almost have to have that, a dangerous mentality of being like I'm not gonna fail, but you have to do it in a graceful way that people aren't gonna look at you and be like, that guy is a freaking prick. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I wonder what that line is. I don't know what that even looks like, but I think you kind of have to have a respectful, arrogant.
But I think I mean, Braden's talked about
You know what I
this
mean?
where he's like, and I think he's got it figured out where I think it just comes down to humility.
Hmm.
It's not like you're being a douche, rubbing
Exactly.
this in like when we talked about numbers and even on this podcast, you're not saying you make this amount of money because you're trying to rub it in anybody's face, right? You're like, this is just what it is. It's transparent and it's being humble. And I still struggle. Like, here I am, a successful business owner, and I am still very human having these problems, being very humble about my problems and how much I make and where I want to be. So I think it's humble slash self confident ego a little bit. I don't know, but I feel like you, Braden set a good example for what that is and what that looks like.
Oh, I'd agree. Yeah. A lot of the things he says, like I said, my dad's a super successful businessman. And a lot of the stuff you guys encompass with your company kind of just really I can familiarize with. And he's, third generation. That place has been going for literally 60, 70 years. And so it's, it works. And I think a cool thing that I really like about the thing you guys said is just to touch on it again is it's just human to human contact. And I love all of the stuff that we do with technology, but I think where I thrive most is just having that contact with people. And that's what I think is really cool is that you're touching people's lives in a way that no computer's ever going to touch that. It's never going to be able to be compatible. I mean, that's a different type of compassion for humans that you guys are being able to offer. So, yeah, you're building homes, but you're also giving somebody a service internally that just knows that you're making their lives so much better. And that's pretty awesome. I like that part.
Wait, you just swing that in front of me?
You guys got anything else?
Big ass thing in front of me.
Kylie, got anything else for us? Some any golden nuggets?
No, I feel like we're just getting into the gold. We could go another 2 hours.
Right.
I could go for
We need to come back.
I love this actually.
Yeah, you go back.
Love this.
We're just cracking Braden shit.
I know.
He's
I
about
know.
ready to
Yeah,
open up.
how are you
So we got to get
feeling,
him back
Braden?
here.
My camera freaking died right when Kylie was talking.
Right when I got to the good stuff.
Yeah, really. I think I recorded you being silent the whole time.
I didn't know what this was going to be like, to be honest. And obviously I was pretty flustered before I got in.
Told Kylie it was me. It was because of me.
No,
Like, Devin, check your ego. Not everything's about you, dude. Not everything's
Yeah.
about you.
Thank you.
I think it's been fun. I think it's been good. I think it's kind of what I was telling Devin is like my friend circle group is just really gotten choked out, right? Like I'm trying to be around people that are uplifting and are wanting not necessarily everything that I want, but in their own ways, better in themselves, right? What you surround yourself with is kind of affects you. And I had this talk with David, like, and I had it with Kai just probably on the way here. Like, when I'm dealing with just putting out fire after fire after fire, like it's hard to find the good, because it's just like, God damn, dude, like one thing after another, after like you just feel like a punching bag, and it's hard. And until you live it, it's hard to explain. Like Kai's my best friend, closest, knows me more than I know me. Like I'm trying to buy a gun. I'm like, what's my social? Thanks, honey. Like just having that, it's weird. But then coming here and just being able to be me, young, old, dumb, stupid, whatever it is. But, and like kind of just that judgment free zone, right? Like where at some point, everything that you and everyone's talked about, we've all felt that a similar relation in our own lives, whether it's business, personal, and just being able to be open. And I have a hard time opening up because I'm like, maybe it's because I deal with so many other people's problems. Like, I'm like, dude, I don't want to tell you about mine. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a big boy. I'll figure it out. Like you were saying, or you were just saying, like you have to have that mentality. Like I will not fail. And honestly, that's what I tell everybody. Like I will fall, but I will get up, and I will fall, and I will get up. But there's some days that I'm just like, you know what?
I'm just
I
gonna
want to lay here for a minute because I'm tired of falling.
I'm just going to take a little nap.
You know, but like that is the attitude you have to have. But I don't think it's just business wise. I think it's in life in general, right? Like we all have ups and downs, and I think we're talking about business, but I think before the business can happen, it's the relationships that we surround ourselves with. Like your wife, my wife. Like if it wasn't for my wife, I probably would have never started because I would have been like, I'm not worthy. I don't know how. I'm dumb. All these mental blocks. So it's I guess it's been pretty cool just to kind of open up my shells, cracked a little bit.
We'll keep it cracked because you're coming back.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
Thank us.
I've got so many more questions. They just started rolling in.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, man. I'm glad you came.
It's an hour, 15 minutes past my bedtime, so now I'm probably gonna start slurring my words. People gonna think I'm drunk.
Yes. I love this.
Yeah. And I got some fun parade activity to do tomorrow morning.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be an early morning. We better get out of
They're
there.
going too. They're
Yeah.
selling cotton candy.
My daughters are
Hell yeah.
In the parade?
before the parade. They got a
Okay,
cart and they'll
walk
drag
up
it.
and down. Okay. That's
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
We're number 53 if they get tired. We got
Okay.
trailer and truck.
Perfect.
Jump on. It's that
That's
big one that
awesome.
says Idaho Disaster.
If you didn't know, that's me. Love you guys.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming.
Thank you
We'll
for
wrap it
having
up, and
us.
yeah, anytime. We'd love it.
I'm scheduling another one. I'm not joking. You're in already.